We're here with head football coach Eric Wagoner for Frostburg State, the Bobcats, and their second-year head coach. And Coach Wagoner, thanks for joining us first of all. And second off, if you could just give us, a general overview of the team for this year, some of your expectations and goals that you want to see out of the guys this fall.
For sure. We have a lot returning from the team of last year and high expectations going into this fall. We've had a great spring ball. Guys are hungry to get back out on the field, get ourselves ready for camp here in a few days. And we just feel like that we've got to build off where we ended last year. We started off pretty well, then hit a kind of a skid in the middle of the season and then improved towards the end of the year, and we're looking to build that and go from there, and got a lot of returners that have a lot of playing experience, and we're excited about getting them back out here, whether it's their last year or they got a couple more years left. We're excited to get them back out here just because that experience is so key and so important from there. Goals are just to improve. We're not going to throw out a bunch of goals that we want to accomplish. If we improve ourselves every day, we get better every day, we play our best football every Saturday and continue to improve ourselves as football players during the week, I think the goals and what you want to accomplish will take care of themselves. So it's just a daily improvement and playing your best every time you go out there, whether it's game, practice, weightlifting, whatever it may be. Those are the biggest goals that we'll have as a team, is this constant improvement and doing the best that we can every single day.
For yourself and your coaching staff, you're now a second-year head coach. You've got basically most of your main assistants are staying on for another year. Offensive coordinator Trevor Miller, defensive coordinator Eric Rhodes, and special teams coordinator Derek Prather. Do you guys feel more of a sense of togetherness and not really having to figure out all of those first year, how is this system going to fit and how are we all going to get along?
Yeah, I always think the second year is always the best. You get through everything after your first year and everything becomes a little bit more easy the second year from there. Now, I've coached with Derek and Trevor before, so that one was pretty seamless. Along with Eric Rhodes, having very similar defensive backgrounds, him and I definitely were able to hit it off right away. I think some of the younger coaches and other position coaches, maintaining those guys have been really the biggest plus, because those are the positions that sometimes cycle through a little bit more every year or every couple of years, and being able to have everybody back at those positions is a huge plus. It's the continuity of the players, continuity of our coaching staff. When we get together, everybody kind of knows what we're thinking. Our players know what to expect. They're not worried about breaking in a new coach and a new scheme and what they need to do here, what they need to do there. It's more about, they can come in and they know what to expect from day one, all the way through camp and all the way through the season. So I think it's huge from a coaching perspective, but from a player continuity perspective is really big also.
You did mention that you have a lot of pieces that are returning. There are some pieces specifically on the defensive side of the ball that you're going to have to replace and find some new depth there. What's your confidence in some of the new guys, transfers, freshmen, guys that were maybe squad players last year that are going to come in, step in and fill those roles that have been left?
Yeah, defensively we had some guys graduate. Love to have some of those guys back. It's really hard when you have some of those guys that have played a long time and really good stat guys, Luke Freeman's of the world, that you don't replace them with one guy a lot of times. A lot of times you're going to replace them with a couple guys, whether it's an incoming freshman that, helps out in spots, whether it's a transfer that comes out. And we were able to go out and get some defensive linemen to help us from that standpoint. Very high on a couple of incoming freshmen, very high on a couple transfers coming in. So I think that's going to be something that's going to, shore up that position with a loss of depth there. And then on the back end too, at the cornerback position, same as D-line, where we've been able to bring in a couple guys that will be freshmen that I think can help us right away, provide depth, and as they learn and grow during the season, get more playing opportunities, but bringing in a couple transfer guys that can come in and compete right away because they've played college football already and they know what it takes. So I think just finding the right balance has been key, and once we get out on the field and everything and get the guys out there, I think we'll finally know what places to put them in and plug those pieces in. The biggest thing for us in the offseason was make sure we had enough pieces to plug in and feel really confident that we do.
What would be some areas, and you've hit on this a little bit, of areas that you're pretty confident that this team is going to be pretty strong in? And then on the other side, maybe some areas to improve upon, or that might be a little bit of a question mark that you'll just have to figure out some of the kinks throughout the year?
high on special teams. Having Dane back is huge. Being able to handle everything, kickoff, field goals, extra points. Think we're going to pick up right where we left off there last year. And then, offensively and defensively, we did things well, just areas that we need to improve on. Offensively, we have a majority of our offensive guys back, offensive linemen, backfield, QB, which is great. So the camaraderie is there. We use spring ball not to install and get to know new coaches. We were able to use spring ball to, do things that our offense needed to do and improve on. But having those guys back are great, but we know we have to do better in the red zone offensively, have to be able to convert those into touchdowns, and as much as Dane kicked a bunch of field goals last year, we'd like some of those field goals to turn into touchdowns this year. So we know we got to be a little bit better in the red zone and take care of the football are some of the biggest points. And defensively, we're just being able to, finish people off. We're a little up and down on defense at some points where we looked like the best defense there was, and then guys would relax and you'd have a series where they're down, and we have to get a consistency on their end. And we, like we just talked about, breaking in some new guys, they're going to have to understand what we're trying to do defensively, get the scheme. They're probably coming from somewhere else that had a scheme, or coming from a high school that, they might have played both sides of the football, and now there's going to be a little bit more involved for them. But developing that consistency and really that mentality of, when we got a chance to, put a game away defensively, that we put it away with a turnover, with a score, things along those lines.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us today. We always appreciate your interviews, taking the time to talk to us. Best of luck for this upcoming season, and we're always excited to have football back in the Berg.
For sure. Thank you. Go Bobcats.